All right, listen up, you magnificent bastards. This isn't your grandma's motivational video. This isn't some soft-spoken guru telling you to manifest your dreams while sipping chamomile tea. This is the real deal. This is Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. And today we're not just talking about success. We're grabbing it by the throat and making it scream your name. You want to know the secret? You want to know how empires are built? How fortunes are forged? How legends are made? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not some cosmic alignment. It's about a relentless, unshakable primal drive. It's about unleashing that inner wolf, that beast that refuses to quit, that hungers for more, that thrives in the grind. For too long, you've been listening to the noise, the doubts, the whispers of mediocrity. You've been playing it safe, waiting for permission, hoping for a handout. Well, guess what? Hope is for the weak, permission is for prisoners, and handouts, we leave those for the pigeons in the park. Today, we're flipping the script. We're ripping up the rule book. We're igniting a fire in your belly that will burn away every excuse, every fear, every single damn limitation. You're about to discover the raw power that lies within you, the power to dominate your day, to conquer your challenges, and to transform every single sunrise into a victory march toward your dreams. You see, success isn't an accident. It's a daily decision. It's a series of intentional actions taken consistently with a purpose so sharp it cuts through steel. You don't need a new year, a big break, or even permission. All you need is 1 hour a day, just one. And I'm going to show you how to leverage that hour to reshape your habits, your income, your relationships, and yes, even your legacy. Are you ready to stop watching someone else live their life and start building your own empire? Then buckle up, because we're just getting started. The sacred hour, reclaiming your morning battleground. So let me ask you something powerful. How you start your day determines how you live your life. It's not just a routine, it's a ritual. That first hour, that's your window, your launch pad, your foundation. Most people, they give it away. They wake up, they reach for the phone, they check messages, they check the news, they check what everyone else is doing. But what they don't check is themselves. They don't ask, what do I want today? What do I need to become? What am I building? You see, if you don't program your mind in the first hour, the world will do it for you. And let me warn you, the world doesn't always have your best interests in mind. It'll feed you drama, distraction, noise, and before you know it, you're reacting to life instead of designing it. So here's the challenge. The first declaration of war against mediocrity. Take back that first hour. Make it yours before the scrolling, before the chaos. Get up a little earlier. Not because it's trendy, but because it's transformational. And use that hour to build you. Dive into 10 pages of a good book. Feed your mind. Visualize, plan your day. Visualize your goals. See the victory before you even step into the arena. Move. Get your body moving. Drink water. Sit in silence. Do what the old you never made time for. Because here's the truth, my friend. If you can win the first hour, you can win the day. And if you win enough days, you win your life. I know what some people say, I'm not a morning person. Bullshit. Success doesn't care if you're a morning person. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. You think the winners of this world leap out of bed with fireworks and fanfare. No, they decide, they train, they build the habit. And so can you. Starting tomorrow, make a new deal with yourself. Before you touch the world, touch your future. Use that first hour not to consume, but to create. Don't just wake up, rise up, because your future isn't waiting at 11 a.m., it's waiting at 6 o'clock. So take it back, build it strong, and when the day begins, you'll already be ahead, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. You won't just be prepared, you'll be powerful. And that is how the transformation begins. Guard the hour like treasure. Guard your gold, protecting your sacred hour. Now that you've taken back the first hour, the next step is to guard it like treasure. Because let me tell you, people will try to steal it. Not with a gun, but with a notification, a favor, a meaningless task, a little, hey, can I just, and suddenly your hour's gone, vanished, given away to something that builds their life, not yours. You've got to understand, this hour is not free. It's not casual. It's not for leftovers. It is sacred. It is strategic. And if you don't protect it, no one else will. You see, time is like money, but even more dangerous to lose. You can always earn another dollar, but you'll never get back that hour. So what do? We put up a fence. We say, this is my hour. No calls, no emails, no scrolling, no distractions. Not because we're rude, but because we're serious. You've got to get serious about your hour. Like a builder is serious about his tools, like a farmer is serious about his soil. Because this hour, if you use it right, will pay you back 100-fold in clarity, in skill, in results, in income, in confidence, but only if you don't trade it for crumbs. Let me say that again. Don't trade gold for crumbs. That's what people do when they say, I'll just check this one thing. Let me reply real quick. This won't take long. And they end up spending their best hour reacting to the world instead of rebuilding their world. So, here's the habit. Every night, schedule your hour. Label it. Set it in stone. No flexibility, no negotiations. Tell your family, your friends, even yourself, this is your time to grow, to think, to create, to build. And if they don't respect it, teach them to. Not with anger, but with consistency. Because when you value your time, people begin to value you. The rule is simple. If it doesn't grow you, it doesn't get your hour, period. This isn't just about productivity. It's about priority. It's about saying, my future matters enough to defend it. And that first hour, that's your front line. So guard it like it's rare, because it is. It's the hour that separates the average from the excellent, the wanderer from the leader, the talker from the doer. And if you guard it today, you'll celebrate it tomorrow. Direction before action. The blueprint of the wolf. You know, it's not enough to take the hour, and it's not enough to guard it. You've got to know what to do with it. That's where most people go wrong. They're active, they're busy, they're doing things, lots of things. But the question is, are they doing the right things? Because here's the truth. Action without direction is a recipe for frustration. It's like being on a treadmill, sweating, grinding, running, but going nowhere. So before you jump into your hour, before you dive into books, before you start building, before you hit play on a video, ask yourself a very powerful question. Where am I going? That question unlocks everything. Because if you don't have direction, you won't have progress. You'll move, but you won't arrive. Direction is the compass. Action is the engine. And you need both. So let's get practical. At the start of your hour, take 3 minutes, just 3, to get clear. Ask yourself, what's my goal? What's the skill I'm building? What am I trying to improve today? And most important, why does it matter to me? Write it down. Don't keep it in your head. Get it on paper, because clarity on paper becomes focus in action. Jim Rohn used to say, reasons come first, answers come second. You've got to know your reason, because when you do, the rest becomes obvious. Now, let me give you a warning. If you skip this step, if you jump straight to action without intention, you'll waste the most precious resource you've got, your focus. And here's what's worse, you'll confuse movement with meaning. You'll feel productive, but you'll stay stuck. That's why direction matters more than speed, because it doesn't matter how fast you're going if you're going the wrong way. So take the time to aim, take the time to ask, take the time to align your actions with your outcomes. Because a man with direction, he walks slower, but he gets further. So tomorrow morning when your hour begins, don't just start doing, start deciding. Decide who you want to become. Decide what matters most. Decide what step brings you closer to the life you've been dreaming of. Because direction turns your hour into a mission. And when you live with mission, you start walking a whole new path. And that path, clear, focused, intentional, is the one that leads to change. Fueling the machine. Learn for an hour, grow for a lifetime. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's this. Success doesn't just come from doing, it comes from learning what to do. And the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. Now here's the good news. Learning is simple. It's not about going back to school. It's not about expensive programs. It's about setting aside just one focused hour a day to feed your mind. That hour, that's your edge. That's your secret weapon. Because when most people are watching nonsense, you're watching growth. When they're drifting, you're developing. And over time, day by day, that learning starts to separate you from the crowd. Jim Rohn said it best. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. So what do you learn during that hour? You read books, you listen to mentors, you study success, you pick up biographies, personal development, communication, health, wealth, mindset, the stuff that moves the needle. Because the more you learn, the more you see. And the more you see, the better choices you make. Now let me be clear. This isn't passive. You're not just scrolling quotes and hoping something sticks. You're intentional. You pick up the book, the course, the notebook on purpose, and you say, this is my growth hour. And let me tell you, an hour a day adds up. In 1 year, that's 365 hours. That's more than 9 full-time work weeks invested in your own mind. You do that for a year, and you won't even recognize yourself. Your language improves. Your confidence rises. You speak with clarity. You think sharper. You solve problems that used to stop you cold. Why? Because you've been stacking wisdom bit by bit, page by page, lesson by lesson. And the best part, nobody can take it away from you. Skills can be learned. Confidence can be built. Knowledge multiplies. And it all begins with that one quiet hour. So here's your next step. Pick your materials before your hour begins. Don't leave it to chance. Stack 3 books on your desk. Cue up the podcast. Open the course you've been putting off. And when that hour starts, go in deep. Because every time you open your mind, you expand your future. And the man or woman who learns daily earns continually. So don't skip this. Don't rush this. Make learning a habit, and you'll make success a lifestyle. Action is gold. 1 hour of practice beats 10 hours of theory. Let's get something straight. Learning is powerful, but learning without doing is just entertainment. You can read every book, watch every video, listen to every podcast, but if you never apply what you've learned, you're not growing, you're just collecting. See, success doesn't come from what you know, it comes from what you practice. Let me repeat that. 1 hour of practice beats 10 hours of theory. Why? Because action is where skill is born. You don't become a speaker by reading about speaking. You don't become fit by studying exercise routines. You don't master anything by sitting on the sidelines. You've got to step into the arena. Now here's the mistake most people make. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they're confident. They wait until it's perfect. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes from action. Every time you practice, you get sharper. Every time you try, you get better. Every time you show up, you grow up. So what does this mean for your hour? It means that at least part of that hour should be hands-on. If you're learning to write, write something. If you're learning to speak, practice out loud. If you're learning business, build the plan, make the pitch, take the call. If you're learning design, open the software and create. No more waiting, no more prepping, just doing. Because repetition is the mother of all skill. Not perfection, repetition. You don't have to get it right the first time. You just have to get it going. And then you refine it, improve it, polish it. That's how professionals are made. And here's something else. When you practice daily, your progress becomes visible. You can feel it. You can measure it. You start to trust yourself. And that trust, that's the real win. Because a person who trusts their own effort becomes unstoppable. So here's the challenge. Take what you learned yesterday and apply it today. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's awkward, just start. Because doing turns knowledge into power. And 1 hour of bold, focused, imperfect action can do more for your life than a lifetime of thinking about it. The feedback loop of greatness. Reflect, refine, repeat. You know, life doesn't improve just because you keep moving forward. It improves when you stop and look back with purpose. Too many people go from one day to the next, one task to the next, one goal to the next, without ever asking the most important question: how did I do today? That's where the growth lives. Not just in the doing, but in the reviewing. Jim Rohn used to say, a life worth living is a life worth recording. And I'll add this, a life worth recording is a life that keeps improving. Now let's break this down. At the end of your hour, not the beginning, not later, not tomorrow, but at the end of your hour, take 5 minutes to reflect. What did you learn? What did you accomplish? What did you struggle with? But what will you do better tomorrow? It's not complicated. It's just honest. And most people won't do it. Why? Because it forces them to face their own patterns. It reveals whether they're moving forward or just spinning in place. But here's the power. Reflection creates clarity. Clarity creates improvement. And improvement creates results. Now, once you've reflected, don't stop there. Next step, refine. What can be tightened? What can be removed? What can be added, improved, upgraded, simplified? You don't need to overhaul your life every week. You just need to tweak the process little by little, because excellence isn't a giant leap. It's a series of small, intelligent corrections over time. Think of it like this. Airplanes are off course 90% of the time, but they constantly adjust. And guess what? They still land exactly where they're supposed to. Why? Because they reflect, refine, and repeat. And that's your formula. Now, every hour you invest in yourself, reflect on it, refine it, repeat it tomorrow just a little better. Do that for a week, you'll notice a shift. Do that for a month, people will notice. Do it for a year, your life will never be the same. Because those who learn from experience grow slow. But those who learn from evaluated experience, they grow fast, they grow strong, they grow wise. So don't just live your life. Examine it, shape it, elevate it, reflect, refine, repeat. That's how you go from ordinary to exceptional. The body is your empire. 1 hour of health a day keeps the doctor away. Let me tell you something that most people forget. Your body is not just a vehicle, it's the engine of your life. And if the engine fails, it doesn't matter how big your dreams are. It doesn't matter how clear your goals are. It doesn't even matter how much money is in your account. Because when health breaks down, everything slows down. You see, the body and the mind are connected. You can't think straight when you're tired. You can't lead when you're weak. You can't build when you're burnt out. So what do? We invest 1 hour a day in the most important machine you'll ever own, your body. Now listen, I'm not saying you need to be a bodybuilder. I'm not saying you need to run marathons, but I am saying you need to move, you need to breathe, you need to stretch, you need to sweat. Because when you honor your health, you elevate your energy. And when your energy goes up, your results go up with it. Let me say that again. Energy is the fuel for achievement. Want more focus? Move. Want more drive? Sweat. Want more peace? Breathe deeply. And the best part, it doesn't take all day. 1 focused hour. That's it. Walk in the morning, stretch your body, do some yoga, lift some weights, or simply step outside and get the sun on your face and the air in your lungs. And because here's a Jim Rohn truth. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Now let me give you a warning. Neglect is quiet at first. A few skipped workouts, a few too many processed meals, a few extra hours sitting in that chair, and suddenly the body starts breaking down. Not all at once, but slowly, silently, until one day the price shows up. In the doctor's bill, in the energy crash, and the missed opportunity you weren't strong enough to grab. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. So take the hour, protect the hour. Use it to build your strength, not just your skills, because you can't give your best if you're running on empty. You can't lead others if you can't even lift yourself. And you can't live your purpose if you're constantly managing pain. So starting today, treat your health like your future depends on it, because it does. 1 hour a day to walk, to stretch, to fuel, to rest, to keep the doctor away, and success close by. The quiet fortune, building wealth in your hidden hours. Let me tell you something important. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living, but profits, they make you a fortune. And to build profits, you don't need 10 hours a day. You don't need a team. You don't even need permission. You need 1 hour, 1 quiet hour. Now, most people get home from work and they shut down. They say, I've done enough. So they sit, scroll, watch, and wonder why nothing changes. But that quiet hour right before bed, right after dinner, that's your chance. It's your space to build something that's yours. Not for your boss, not for your paycheck, but for your future. In that hour, you can start your side business. You can learn a new skill. You can write. You can plan. You can sell. You can build. You don't need a fancy office. You don't need a perfect setup. You just need a little hunger and 1 hour that you don't give to the world. Now let me be honest. The results won't come in a day, but that's not the goal. The goal is momentum. 1 hour a day, 5 hours a week, 260 hours a year. That's not small. That's massive. That's a product launched. That's a brand started. That's a future created. But only if you treat the hour like treasure. Not as time to waste, but time to build. You don't build wealth with wishes. You build it with work. Quiet, focused, consistent work when no one's watching. And here's the best part. If you do that long enough, one day you'll look up and realize something. That little hour built your confidence, built your income, built your independence. And it started when you made one simple decision to stop wasting the quiet hour and start using it to build your fortune. Human connection. Relationships built 1 hour at a time. Now let's talk about something most success books leave out. Relationships. Because what good is a fortune? What good is a strong body, a sharp mind, a big bank account if you don't have people to share it with? Success without connection is empty. You don't build a good life just by building businesses or habits. You build a good life by building people. And that takes time. That takes care. That takes presence. But here's the good news. Just like you grow wealth with 1 quiet hour, you grow relationships the same way. 1 hour at a time. 1 hour of real conversation. 1 hour of listening, not just hearing. 1 hour of putting the phone down and looking someone in the eyes. You see, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. And they feel it when you give them time. Now, I'm not asking for 10 hours a week. I'm not asking you to become a therapist. All I'm saying is give someone in your life your full attention for just 1 hour. Your spouse, your child, your parent, your mentor, your friend. And don't just sit in the same room. Be there. Ask questions. Share stories. Laugh a little. Or just sit together and be quiet, because presence is powerful. Let me tell you what happens when you do this. Trust starts to grow. Walls begin to fall. Love multiplies and connection deepens. It doesn't take a fancy dinner or a big trip. It takes 1 hour of your heart with no distractions. And I'll say this, the people who know how to build great relationships, they always win in the long run. Because in the storms of life, and they will come, money won't hold your hand. Success won't hug you, but relationships will. So, schedule that hour. Make it intentional. Because if you don't invest in people, you'll wake up one day surrounded by things, but feeling completely alone. And here's the truth. A rich life is measured in memories, not just milestones. And memories are made in moments. Moments like this. Moments that begin with just 1 hour. So the next time you think about success, remember this. Don't just build your future, build your people, and do it 1 hour at a time. Stacking hours, the compounding power of consistent action. You've heard it before, success is built 1 step at a time. Well, I'll say it a little differently. Success is built 1 hour at a time. 1 hour of discipline, 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of building, 1 hour of investing in your mind, your body, your future. Now here's the problem. Most people underestimate what 1 hour a day can do. They say it's just an hour. What difference does it make? Let me show you the math. 1 hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. That's over 300 hours a year. That's more than 7 full-time work weeks. Now ask yourself, what could you do with 7 full-time weeks focused only on growth? You could write a book, learn a high-value skill, build a business, change your health, master your mindset, or even rebuild your life. But you don't do it in a rush. You do it by stacking the hours, one on top of another, each one building on the last, brick by brick, quiet, steady, strong. That's how a future is built. Not in a burst of energy, but in consistent effort. Now here's the secret. Small disciplines don't stay small. They expand, they multiply, they shape who you become. Every time you show up for that hour, you're casting a vote for your future. You're saying, I'm not wasting my life. I'm not waiting on luck. I'm building something that matters. And that decision made daily creates momentum. It creates confidence. It creates results. Because when you add up the hours, you add up the progress. And when you add up the progress, you start changing your identity. You go from someone who waits to someone who builds. Now listen, there will be days you miss it. That's okay. You're human. But don't let a missed hour turn into a missed week or a missed year. Always come back. Get back to stacking, because time is passing either way. And one day the question won't be, did you dream big? It'll be, did you use your hours wisely? So stack them, protect them, and one day you'll look up and realize you didn't just change your habits, you changed your life. The unstoppable identity when 1 hour turns into a new you. You started with just 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of reflecting, 1 hour for your health, 1 hour for your future. At first it felt small, almost invisible, like nothing was happening. But day by day, hour by hour, something was happening. You are becoming someone new, not overnight, not by accident, but by decision. Because here's a truth you can count on. You don't change your life in one leap. You change your life one consistent hour at a time. The hour you showed up when it wasn't easy. The hour you chose growth over comfort. The hour you practiced instead of postponed. The hour you listened, loved, focused, created. And those hours, they did something powerful. They rewired your mind. They reshaped your habits. They rebuilt your confidence. 1 hour at a time, you started to believe in yourself again. You began to trust your word. You proved to yourself that discipline isn't just a word, it's a lifestyle. And the best part, you didn't need to change everything. You just needed to change one thing: how you use your time. That was the turning point. This is where the wolf comes in. It's not about being a ruthless tyrant. It's about being relentlessly committed to your own evolution. It's about a definiteness of purpose, a clear, unwavering, unshakable aim, a target burned so deeply into your subconscious that it becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't some vague dream. This is purpose written with fire, carried with discipline, protected with your life. Because without purpose, your energy scatters. Your hours are stolen by distraction. Your focus is hijacked by the next shiny thing. So, when you become a man with definiteness of purpose, your path narrows, your vision sharpens. You stop waking up wondering what the day will bring and start commanding the day to deliver what you have already decided. That's power. That's the beginning of transformation. Look at every man who changed the course of history and you will find a purpose behind his steps. You don't ask what you're owed, you ask what you can give. You exceed expectations as a way of life. You are the man who goes the extra mile because that's where greatness begins. And when you face resistance, when others mock you, when they say you're working too hard, caring too much, doing too much for nothing, let them talk. The rewards of going the extra mile are never immediate. They are delayed but multiplied. They come in the form of respect, of trust, of opportunity, of leadership, and eventually of wealth. The power of silence, drowning out the noise, unleashing the roar. Now let's talk about something critical. The noise, the opinions, the doubts, the distractions. The world is full of people ready to tell you why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you're crazy. But you, my friend, you are not here to be understood. You are here to win. You are here to outgrow, outwork, and outlast every limitation they try to put on you. The second you start moving with confidence instead of consensus, your life will change. The second you decide to value peace over popularity, you will find power. Not everyone will clap for you. Not everyone will support you. That's part of the process. You don't need a choir. You need commitment. You don't need cheerleaders. You need conviction. Keep your eyes on the vision. Keep your ears closed to the nonsense. You're not in this to be seen. You're in this to conquer. You're not in this to entertain followers. You're in this to lead, to build, to dominate. Focus is a competitive advantage in a world addicted to distraction. Everyone's looking everywhere, but where it counts. Everyone's chasing noise, while the few, the obsessed, the focused, are stacking wins in silence. That's where you want to live. That's where the results are. Don't argue. Don't explain. Don't debate. Just work. Just improve. Just execute. Make your progress so loud that their opinions disappear. Make your discipline so consistent that their doubt can't keep up. Make your rise so undeniable that the same people who ignored you now ask how you did it. You don't owe them a response. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them anything but silence. That's the language of the focused. That's the language of the wolf. And here's a profound truth about silence. It's not weakness, it's power. It's strength. It's everything they fear, and it's everything you are. When others expect you to react with anger, with defensiveness, you respond with silence. You take that pain, that frustration, and you mold it into something they can't touch. Think about steel. Do you know how it's made? It's forged in fire, beaten into shape, cooled in silence. That's what you are. You're steel, strong, unbreakable, forged in the fires of your pain and tempered by the cold silence of your strength. One day, people will look back at your life. They'll remember the things you said, the things you did, the impact you made, but most of all, they'll remember the way you made them feel. Your silence is part of that legacy. It's a reminder that you didn't let the noise of the world drown you out, that you didn't let the chaos of others define you, that you stood tall, stayed strong, and chose peace over conflict. This silence isn't just a response, it's a lesson. A reminder that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say nothing at all. What's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep wasting your energy on people who don't deserve it? Or are you gonna let your silence speak for you? Are you gonna let them define you? Or are you gonna rise above? Because in the end, your silence will break them in ways anger never could. And you'll walk away stronger, wiser, and free. The persistence paradox. Failure is feedback, not defeat. You must stop seeing failure as defeat. It is not the end unless you make it so. Failure is feedback. It is information. It is the sharpening ground of those who do not quit. Every time you get knocked down and get back up, you are proving that your commitment is stronger than your emotion, that your purpose is louder than your pain, that your will is harder than the wall in front of you. And that is a terrifying power, because the man who cannot be broken cannot be stopped. Persistence backed by accountability makes you dangerous. It makes you a force of nature. While others wait for the right conditions, you build in the storm. While others hope to be motivated, you execute on principle. While others look for shortcuts, you build foundations. This is what separates those who try from those who triumph. Not talent, not timing, relentless persistence, ruthless accountability, and the daily decision to do what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. The life you want will not fall in your hands. It will be built by your hands. It will not come through wishful thinking, but through intentional action. Every principle you've heard, definiteness of purpose, self-discipline, immediate action, organized planning, accurate thinking, persistence, and accountability is not theory, it is law. It is structure for your rise. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for the right time. You are choosing now. Because power belongs to the man who decides, the man who moves, the man who endures. The world does not respond to noise. It responds to force. Be that force, not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, today, relentless, focused, unstoppable. You will face failure. You will be ignored. You will be laughed at. Let it fuel you. The moment you start working like no one's watching, the world will start watching. Success is not for the lazy. It doesn't belong to the interested. It belongs to the obsessed, the relentless, the focused, those who choose to sacrifice comfort for greatness. Work on yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mindset, your habits, your decisions, those are the architects of your future. So grind in silence, win in silence, focus on your mission, trust the process, work harder than you think you can, and then work harder than that. You are the only one who can do it. You are the only one who must. Now go and don't look back. Remember this, the work always works, just not always on your timeline. So keep going, keep building, keep grinding when it would be easier to quit. Persistence rewrites the rules. It bends reality. It breaks barriers. It forces doors open that stay shut for everyone else. But only if you refuse to back down. Only if you refuse to slow up. Only if you keep rising even when nothing around you tells you it's working. That's how champions think. The self-discipline imperative. Your armor and your sword. Self-discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. It is the force that separates winners from watchers, builders from beggars, and leaders from followers. You can have ambition, you can have talent, you can even have opportunity. But without self-discipline, it all crumbles. It all stays locked inside you, wasted, unrealized, forgotten. There is no success without control, no power without restraint. If you cannot command yourself, you will be commanded by everything else. The phone will control your mind. The food will control your health. The laziness will control your time. The people around you will control your energy. The world is full of masters waiting to own your focus, your money, your attention. The only protection you have is self-discipline. That is your armor. That is your sword. The disciplined man does not need to be told twice. He does not wait for motivation. He doesn't hope for convenience. He moves whether it's raining or sunny, whether it's easy or painful, because his loyalty is not to comfort. His loyalty is to his purpose, to his vision, to the man he is destined to become. And self-discipline isn't just about willpower, it's about creating habits. When you make something a habit, it no longer requires as much discipline, it becomes automatic. For example, if you make it a habit to read 10 pages of a good book every day, you don't have to rely on willpower to learn and grow. The habit takes over, and your discipline becomes effortless. Every day you have the opportunity to improve. Every day you have the chance to become a little bit better than you were yesterday. And when you make the commitment to improve yourself every day, in every area of your life, you will find that the journey itself is the reward. It's not about making a giant leap. It's about taking one small step at a time every single day. And when you do that, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve over time. That's the real secret to success. It's not about luck or talent or even hard work. It's about the small, consistent acts of self-discipline. Identity installation, repetition is the language of the subconscious. You cannot rewire your entire system in a single sitting. You cannot kill a decade of fear with one round of motivation. You cannot erase the old programming with inspiration alone, because your subconscious mind does not respond to one-time information. It responds to repetition. To imprint a new belief, you must burn it in again and again until it becomes more familiar than your doubts. So let this truth echo through your mind. Repetition is the language of the subconscious, and the strongest loop always wins. If your old loop is "I'm not good enough," it will dominate until a stronger one replaces it. If the dominant signal in your life is hesitation, that will become your identity. But if you feed your mind day after day with power, with certainty, with a voice that reminds you of who you really are, then the old voice loses volume, not by force, but by frequency. That's why auto-suggestion is not optional. It is the method, the tool, the mechanism by which you reprogram who you are at the core. And how does it work? You play this again. You speak the lines aloud, not casually, but with energy. You memorize the phrases that struck you. You repeat them in your mind. When resistance rises, you let this message become your mental software. You don't listen for entertainment. You listen for identity installation. Because you are not just here to feel better. You are here to become unrecognizable. Close your eyes and say this to yourself. I am not afraid. I act without hesitation. I am focused. I am certain. I am becoming who I was meant to be. Feel what happens in your body when you say those words. Do you feel it shift? That's not imagination. That's neural reinforcement. That's your identity being updated in real time. Now multiply that by 90 days. You say it once, it's a spark. You say it every morning for 90 days. It's a circuit. And you speak it until it becomes your baseline. Until the words don't just sound strong, they are your voice. This is the law. What you feed forms you. What you repeat becomes you. So don't let this message fade. Don't treat it like a video. Treat it like a ritual. Build your morning around it. Make it part of your environment. And if someone asks why you keep playing the same message again and again, tell them this. Because I'm not here to be entertained. I'm here to be rebuilt. Your mind is programmable. Always has been. The only question is, who's writing the code? From this moment forward, you are. So play this again. Speak the words with fire. Walk into your day with certainty. Because every time you repeat power, you weaken fear. The mastermind surrounding yourself with execution, vision, and warriors. Now let's talk about leveling up beyond individual effort. The mastermind doesn't chase. It attracts. It doesn't beg. It builds. And when it moves with force. Everything changes when the right minds connect. What felt overwhelming becomes a strategy. What felt impossible becomes a target. What felt like fear becomes fuel. Because now you're not alone. You're surrounded by execution, surrounded by vision, surrounded by warriors who don't flinch, don't fold, don't fade. And when your mind unites with theirs, when your energy fuses with their drive, a new power is born. And from that place, anything can be built. So stop chasing success. Become it. Mold yourself into the kind of person success is magnetized to. This isn't about being carried, it's about being amplified. It's about finding those individuals who push you, challenge you, and hold you accountable to the highest version of yourself. These are the people who will call you out when you're slipping, celebrate you when you're winning, and stand with you when the world tells you to quit. They understand the grind because they live it. They understand the ambition because it burns in their own souls. Seek out those who have already achieved what you desire, or those who are on the same relentless path. Learn from their victories, but more importantly, learn from their struggles, because in those shared battles, true alliances are forged. This is where you exchange vulnerabilities for strength, doubts for declarations, and individual efforts for collective triumphs. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for guidance. The greatest leaders know the value of surrounding themselves with other formidable minds. It's not a weakness. It's a strategic advantage. It's how you gain different perspectives, unlock innovative solutions, and accelerate your progress beyond what you could ever achieve alone. Remember, the wolf pack is stronger than any lone wolf. Not because any single wolf is weak, but because together their power multiplies. Their instincts are sharpened. Their hunt is more efficient. And their roar is deafening. Build your pack. Cultivate those connections. Because the deeper your relationships, the stronger your foundation. And when your foundation is unbreakable, your empire can rise without limit. The art of discomfort. Expanding your capacity. Let me tell you something vital. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not in the cozy confines of what you already know. When you intentionally lean into discomfort, you're creating a new neural baseline, a new level of capacity. You teach your system that you can handle more. You teach it that obstacles are not walls. They are stepping stones. The brain learns to seek solutions, not to retreat. And it's not just a one-time shift. It's cumulative. The more you force yourself to act when it's hardest, the more you expand your threshold. The more you build capacity for stress, for challenge, for uncertainty. This is how elite performers build their careers, how athletes push past plateaus, how creators make their best work. It's not that they don't feel the pressure. They've simply built the capacity to operate under that pressure. You want to be a wolf? Then you need to embrace the hunt, the cold, the hunger. You need to willingly step into the arena where the stakes are high and the outcome is uncertain, because that's where you discover what you're truly made of. That's where you forge resilience. Think about it. If you always choose the easy path, your muscles atrophy, your mind dulls, your spirit softens. But when you consistently choose the difficult path, the early morning workout, the challenging conversation, the complex problem, the uncomfortable truth, you actively strengthen your mental and emotional fortitude. You become a problem solver, a barrier breaker, a force to be reckoned with. This doesn't mean you seek out suffering for its own sake. It means you recognize that calculated discomfort is a tool for expansion. It's a deliberate act of self-improvement. It's saying, I am stronger than my current limitations, and I will prove it to myself, one challenging step at a time. So identify one area where you habitually avoid discomfort. Is it a difficult conversation? A new skill you're scared to learn? A financial risk you're afraid to take? A new health habit that feels too hard? Pick one, and for just 1 hour, lean into it. Push past the initial resistance. Feel the fear, and do it anyway. Because on the other side of that discomfort lies your next level of greatness. And once you experience that liberation, you'll crave the challenge, you'll hunger for the growth, and you'll realize that the discomfort was merely a disguise for opportunity. The Wolf's Creed: act as if and become unstoppable. Now let's talk about the mindset that truly separates the winners from the rest, the act as if mentality. It's not about faking it till you make it. It's about commanding your internal state until your external reality has no choice but to conform. You've spent enough time worrying, enough time hesitating, enough time telling yourself stories rooted in fear. Now it's time to flip the script. The version of you that hesitates, that overthinks, that shrinks when life gets loud, he cannot coexist with the version of you that walks in certainty. You cannot serve two minds. One must die. So today I hand you a new frame, a new filter, a new standard. Act as if everything always works out. Not because it's guaranteed, but because it makes you unstoppable. When you assume that success is inevitable, you move with courage. You speak with authority. You command your life. Instead of negotiating with it. This isn't just a video, it's your reset, your new operating system. And it is to be repeated. Not once, not twice, but daily, until your subconscious accepts this certainty as law, until doubt withers in its presence. You are here to become unrecognizable. You don't just casually watch a video and hope it changes you. You repeat it, you study it, you speak it back. Because when you do, when you make those words louder than the doubt, something extraordinary happens. You start to believe yourself. That is the root of all personal power. To know that when you speak, your subconscious listens. So you begin each day with command, not confusion. You wake up and speak the script of the man you are becoming, not just because it sounds good, but because you know it is writing new grooves in your mind. And those grooves will become the path your feet walk. Thomas Edison did not succeed because he felt inspired. He succeeded because his faith in the outcome was greater than any single failure. 10,000 times he tried. 10,000 times he found ways that didn't work. But he kept going because he acted as if success was inevitable. That's the Wolf's Creed. Relentless faith even in the face of overwhelming odds. It's not optimism born of ignorance. It's optimism born of informed action, an unwavering belief in your own capacity. This act as if mentality isn't about blind optimism. It's about strategic psychological warfare waged on your own limiting beliefs. It's about creating an internal environment where success is the only logical outcome, where failure is simply feedback, and where your drive becomes an unquenchable fire. So from this moment forward, when you face a challenge, don't ask, can I do this? Ask, how am I going to do this? When you feel doubt creeping in, don't entertain it. Instead, declare with absolute certainty, I am doing this. It's already done. This isn't just positive thinking. It's active creation. It's programming your mind for victory and then unleashing your actions to match that unshakable belief. Ownership mentality. Going the extra mile. Let me tell you something about true success. It's not about doing the bare minimum. It's not about just getting by. It's about owning your path, owning your effort, and consistently going the extra mile. Do it when no one sees it. Do it when no one claps. Do it until it's your identity, because that identity becomes a magnet for opportunity. Henry Ford built an empire not just because of what he knew, but because he demanded more from himself and from others. Faster production, smarter engineering, better value for the customer. He always asked, how can we give more? And as a result, he received more than any man in his field. But remember, it started small. Every great leap begins with invisible effort. So begin today. Where am I meeting the minimum? Where can I exceed the standard? Where can I act not like an employee, not like a worker, but like an owner? And once you find that answer, live it, you'll feel resistance. Others will mock you. They'll say you're working too hard, caring too much, doing too much for nothing. But the rewards of going the extra mile are never immediate. They are delayed, but multiplied. They come in the form of respect, of trust, of opportunity, of leadership, and eventually of wealth. Say this daily: I do not ask what I'm owed. I ask what I can give. I exceed expectations as a way of life. I am the man who goes the extra mile, because that's where greatness begins. And let those words take root, because the man who lives by them, he never stays at the bottom for long. This isn't about impressing others. It's about impressing yourself. It's about building an internal standard of excellence that permeates every area of your life. When you consistently give more than is expected, you not only elevate your output, you elevate your character. You become indispensable. You become the person everyone wants to work with, wants to learn from, wants to invest in. This ownership mentality extends to every aspect of your life. It's about taking full responsibility for your results, your habits, your future. No excuses, no blame, just pure, unadulterated commitment to doing what needs to be done, and then some, because when you own your effort, you own your outcome. And that, my friends, is true power. The master's mindset, the path of relentless focus. In a world addicted to distraction, focus is your competitive advantage. Everyone's looking everywhere, but where it counts. Everyone's chasing noise, while the few, the obsessed, the focused are stacking wins in silence. That's where you want to live. That's where the results are. Don't argue. Don't explain. Don't debate. Just work. Just improve. Just execute. Make your progress so loud that their opinions disappear. Make your discipline so consistent that their doubt can't keep up. Make your rise so undeniable that the same people who ignored you now ask how you did it. You don't owe them a response. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them anything but silence. That's the language of the focused. True masters understand that focus is a muscle, and it must be trained daily. In your sacred hour, eliminate every distraction. Turn off your phone. Close unnecessary tabs. Create a fortress of solitude where your attention is undivided and your energy is concentrated. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about being strategic. It's about preserving your most precious resource for what truly matters. When you commit to your process without the need to explain it, something incredible happens. You create autonomy. Your focus sharpens, your confidence grows, and your actions become more decisive because you're no longer dependent on others to affirm your worth. This shifts the balance of power back into your hands. You stop waiting for the world to catch up with your goals. Instead, you start building them regardless of whether anyone else understands. And this is where true freedom comes from. Freedom from the need to perform for others, and freedom to create at your own pace. The work done in silence matters more than anything else. It's the 5 a.m. wake-ups when no one knows you're grinding. It's the hard choices when no one's applauding. It's the rewiring of neural pathways through repetition, intention, and consistency without any external reward. That's where transformation happens. That's when your nervous system starts recognizing a new version of you. Not because the world clapped, but because you showed up anyway, consistently, quietly, relentlessly. When people are building something significant, a skill, a body, a business, or a new version of themselves,
They don't waste precious cognitive bandwidth broadcasting every move. Their reward system has already shifted. They get dopamine from execution, not expression. Silence becomes a tool, not because you're hiding, but because you're preserving attention for what matters. You're not seeking applause, you're managing energy. You're creating internal coherence, where your behavior, identity, and goals are neurologically aligned. And when that happens, results become inevitable. They don't need to be advertised because the quality of the output speaks for itself.
This is the relentless focus of the wolf on the hunt. No wasted movement, no unnecessary noise. Just pure, unadulterated concentration on the target. Embrace it, live it, and watch your world transform. Beyond the grind, the purpose-driven life. If you don't know what you want, the world will decide for you. You will drift, you will wander, and your energy will be scattered in 100 directions, doing 1,000 things that don't matter. But when you decide, truly decide with absolute clarity what it is you're after, every step you take becomes a weapon. Every breath becomes a choice. Every day becomes a war with your weakness and a contract with your future. You cannot build anything great with a vague blueprint. Success demands specificity. It demands you say to yourself, this is what I want, I will have it, and I will not stop until I do. That's the fire. That's the point where life begins to move for you. Not before. Once you lock onto that goal, everything else becomes irrelevant. The gossip, the distractions, the outside noise, the opinions of those who haven't done a damn thing with their lives, they all fade into the background because purpose is louder than noise. Purpose silences doubt. Purpose kills hesitation. Purpose rewires your brain to recognize nothing but the path forward, even when it's uphill, even when it's dark, even when there's no one clapping for you, no one cheering you on. This definiteness of purpose is your ultimate weapon. It is the unwavering aim that guides every decision, every action, every sacrifice. It's the conviction that transcends temporary setbacks and propels you forward through the toughest challenges. Your purpose is your reason for being, your why. It's the deep burning desire that makes the grueling hours feel like a privilege, the setbacks feel like lessons, and the pursuit of your vision feel like the most natural thing in the world. When your purpose becomes a necessity, not a wish, not a preference, but a life or death necessity, you will move mountains, you will bend reality, you will force life to make room for your vision. And that's when you begin to live on your own terms, not by chance, not by default, but by decision, by direction, by fire. So what is your purpose? What is that one thing that truly sets your soul on fire? Get clear on it. Burn it into your mind. Repeat it every morning. Repeat it every night. Let it become your compass. Let it become your weapon. Let it become your obsession. Because the man who knows what he wants will always dominate the person who doesn't. Today, right now, get honest with yourself. Ask, what is my aim? What am I building? What is the one thing that matters more than anything else? And if you don't have an answer, don't do anything until you do. Get still. Get serious. Get focused. Your future depends on it. You've listened. You've absorbed truth after truth. Not theories, but tools. But now comes the most important part. You walk not as the man who started this video, but as the man who has already become what he used to chase. You don't move like you're trying. You don't speak like you're hoping. You move with certainty. You speak with authority. You live with an unstoppable conviction that your future is not an option. It is an inevitability. Remember the simple power of 1 hour a day. It is the genesis of all great transformations. It's the silent revolution you wage against mediocrity. It's the unwavering commitment to the highest version of yourself. Take back the first hour. Make it your launch pad. Guard it like treasure. Protect it from the noise and distractions of the world. Define your direction. Action without purpose is wasted energy. Learn relentlessly. Self-education is the key to fortune. Practice with ferocity.
Knowledge becomes power only through application.
Reflect, refine, repeat. Constant, intelligent adjustment leads to excellence.
Invest in your health. Your body is the engine of your life.
Build your fortune in quiet hours. Create your legacy when no one's watching. Nurture your relationships. Success is empty without connection. Stack your hours. Small, consistent efforts compound into massive results.
Embrace silence as power. Let your results speak for themselves.
Act as if. Command your reality into existence. You have the blueprint. You have the tools. You have the fire within you. The choice is yours. Are you going to keep making excuses? Are you going to keep making excuses? Or are you going to unleash that inner wolf and dominate your destiny? The world doesn't care about your intentions. It only responds to action. So, starting today, let every hour be a declaration of your unwavering commitment. Let every sunrise be a reminder that you are building something extraordinary. And let your life become a testament to the power of relentless effort, unshakable discipline, and an insatiable hunger for greatness. Now go! The market is waiting. Your empire is waiting. And the world is about to witness the rise of an unstoppable force. You